Hey, good Tuesday morning. Hey, I want to do a new video today. CNP exam traps. Don't let the VA lowball your disability rating. This is a common thing when veterans are dealing with CNP exams. So, VA compensation and pension exams are critical in determining a veteran's disability rating. Unfortunately, some veterans report experiencing what they perceive as examiner traps, tactics, or questions that can undermine the claim if you're not prepared. These aren't always intentional, but being informed can help you avoid missteps. So I just want to say this. Your CNP exam is not your doctor's exam, okay? That CNP exam is your exam based on the symptoms that are in your medical files or the symptoms that you say that you have. The CNP exam is not the examiner's exam. It's your exam, and you're the one that controls this exam to the best of your knowledge, by stating facts that pertain to you. And everything that you state should be in your medical records that can back these claims up. So, but it's how you say things. For one, when you get in front of that examiner and that examiner get to talking and say, hey, you look fine to me, the examiner, here's the trap. The examiner judges your condition based on appearance. Well, you got to avoid that. Clearly explain how your condition affects you. Even if you're having a good day, don't downplay your symptoms. How many times we've heard of veterans that downplay their symptoms? That's not the time to do that, to downplay your symptoms. That's only going to backfire and hurt you. So if you have these symptoms, you're being treated for these symptoms, you know it's in your service treatment record, lay it out, explain exactly how you're being affected. Okay? You don't need to over exaggerate anything. Just explain your symptoms, okay? Number two, how are you today? And you say, I'm fine. Well, here's the trap. Saying I'm fine can be misinterpreted as you not being impaired. So how do I avoid that? Say something like, I'm managing, but I'm in pain, or it's a rough day. Because if you're in pain, you're in pain. And you got to be able to express that. So key words, what you say, can be held against you. So you want to always be trying to be on the lookout for these trap words or trap things like that. So just make sure that you're prepared. Number three is inconsistent statements. Here's the trap. Your exam statement doesn't match your medical records or what you said in previous documents. How to avoid that? You got to be consistent on what you say. Review your past statements or DBQs before the exam. You can always go into your service treatment record and look at your past exams, and it's worth doing it. The more time that you put into your exam, the better off you're going to be. Remember, I said it's your exam. So put the time and energy into improving on your statements and being consistent in what you say. Number four, minimizing or withholding details. Here's the trap. Not explaining how your symptoms affect your daily life. It's not the time to be the tough guy. It's not the time to be the tough veteran, okay? How do you avoid it? Be thorough. Describe the frequency, the severity, what triggers you, and functional impact. If there's a functional impact that doesn't allow you to do your job, but you need to be able to express that. And if you're having symptoms frequently, like daily, well, you need to say, hey, I'm affected by this daily, and the severity, I would say on a scale of 9 to 10, if it's a 9, state that it's a 9. If it's a 7, state that it's a 7. But you got to be able to know the symptoms, okay? and know the details of it. Number 5 is physical tests pushed to the limit. This is a big one. I had to deal with this myself. Examiner asks you to perform a range of motion movements, and you push too far to be cooperative, making your condition look better than it is. I've said it before, this is not the time to be cooperative. This is the time to show that you have a condition. Okay? So, how do you avoid it? Stop where the pain starts and tell the examiner that's it. That's where it is. Okay? So, if you just had to raise your hand above your head and the pain started here, that's where you need to let the examiner know where the pain starts. Okay? So be real. You gotta give yourself the best chance to win your case. So you gotta be on point with your evidence. If that's where it is, if it's right there, then be right there. Okay? If you can do this, then that's where it is. But wherever that pain starts, let the examiner know. Not how far you can get it up, but where that pain is. Mental health, casual conversations. Here's the trap. Small talk used to assess cognitive or mood function. I'm not going into the CMP examiner for small talk. I'm going in there to let the examiner know how I feel. How to avoid it. Stay focused on why you're there. Even informal talk may be evaluated. So me personally, I'm not going to do no extra talking. Whatever he or she asks me, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not doing. I'm not there to be friends. I'm there to be evaluated. Okay. So I don't care if that examiner likes me or don't like me. I just want to make sure that I'm consistent in my statements. I'm consistent in what on how I feel, and I can express how I feel. 7, do you work or can you work? Here's the trap. This ties into TDIU, or total disability based on individual unemployability. How do you avoid it? If you're working, explain any accommodations or reduced hours. If not, describe why your condition prevents you from employment. So, example, let's say that your symptom, I don't know, let's just say you have a mental health condition and you acting out on the job. You know, you threatening your coworkers and or customers with outbursts and stuff like that. Well, you got to be able to express that and let them know that's what's keeping you from working, or why they making you work in the back of the store or the office, because they're afraid that you're going to have some type of outburst. Okay? So, or if you can't keep a job because of those conditions, then you got to be able to display that, and it should also be in your medical treatment records where you're being seen with your psychologist or psychiatrist. So it should already be documented. You just got to the same way you explain it to your doctor, you're going to explain it to the CMP examiner. Downplaying symptoms out of pride. Here's the trap. Many veterans are conditioned to tough it out. This leads to underreporting symptoms. And I said it before and I'll say it again. It's not the time to be the tough veteran. Okay? Don't downplay your symptoms. Be honest and vulnerable, even if it feels uncomfortable, because it could definitely feel uncomfortable, telling someone what your symptoms are. You really don't know these people, and I did it through one of my exams where I had a female doctor and I didn't want to state how I was feeling about a certain condition, and I let it ride. I didn't bring it up. Probably could have won that claim. It was definitely documented in my service treatment record, but I out of pride, I couldn't do it. I didn't feel comfortable bringing that up. in the exam. So I just let it ride. I didn't put an effort into it, and more than likely I probably lost out on some money. Okay, but at this point it's not worth me trying to go back to try to get that. But it happens. I'm not the only person that have done that. There's a lot of veterans that have done that. So 9 is vague questions like, tell me about your pain. So here's the trap. Open-ended questions where you give incomplete answers. Don't give incomplete answers. Be specific. So if they say is type of pain. What type of pain are you having? Or just mild pain or anything. No, you want to be specific. I'm having sharp pains. I'm having dull pains. Whatever that pain is, you got to express it, and don't just throw it out there. And then the location. Show them exactly where you're having the pain and the frequency of this pain. Hey, if you're having this pain pretty much all day, every day, well, you got to express that. If you're not having the pain that often, then you got to express that too. And then the intensity of the pain. On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you say your pain? If your pain a 4, then you got to say it's a 4. If your pain a 8, then be able to say it's an 8. But you gotta say exactly what your pain level is, and impact on sleep, work, or relationships. So if your condition hinders your sleep, well, you gotta definitely be able to express that to the examiner. Or if it hinders your work or your relationships, it may be a condition where it's a mental health issue and it's just tearing up your family relationships. Maybe you can't keep a good relationship with your kids or your spouse or girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever you have. So, but you got to be able to express that. 10 is no witness or advocate present. Here's the trap. Without a witness or notes, it becomes your word versus theirs. You can also, here's how you avoid it. You may be allowed to bring someone or take notes afterwards, but you want to check with the VA guidelines. You can always call and ask, can you bring someone to the CEP exam? As an example, let's just say you're married and you might be in bad shape, but your spouse is the one who's taking care of you on a regular basis, and they can just express more, a lot better than you can, because they're taking care of you. So if you can have that person available and they can come in if they say it's allowed, make sure you do that, because that nobody knows you better than the person who's taking care of you. Now, just some bonus tips. Bring a symptom log. If you're having migraines, you want to have a log or a journal stating how often you have these migraines. I would have the time of day, the frequency, the pain level, and track it. But whatever it is you're going through, if you can have a log, you log it. Okay? Know your DBQs and your nexus letters inside and out. That nexus letter ties everything in together. If you don't know what's on your nexus letter, there's no way that you can express it, right? So take the time out, go into your medical treatment records, look at those. You can download it, print it out, whatever you need to do. But know your nexus letters or your DBQs. Know the answers to what's on there. And then the last thing is be polite. You want to be respectful, but you can be assertive at the same time about your limitations, okay? So don't go in and disrespect nobody. You know how to express your limitations. You know where your limitations are. And you can express that without disrespecting the examiner, because that definitely ain't going to help you no kind of way. Hey, that's all I got for you guys today. You see a veteran, help a veteran. I'm out.